It's romantic and exciting. You've probably seen them drifting along. It is the peak season for hot air balloon rides. But how is the industry regulated? NBC Bay Area investigative reporter Elise Kirshner looks at the safety of the popular activity.
Launching up,
we're above the clouds and floating along.
Drifting into the clouds.
It's a unique experience.
Hello!
It can be one of the most romantic experiences imaginable.
It is absolutely gorgeous.
That's exactly what hot air ballooning was for Marcy Cook, until her pilot rammed into a power line in the Texas countryside, sending 3,900 volts of electricity through her body.
I've totally lost all sense of depth perception. Walking for me is very difficult.
There have been other accidents. Take a look at this rough landing in Albuquerque. Are passengers strapped in at all?
No, they're not. We're not required to have any kind of seat belts. We want everybody to be able to move around freely.
With its picturesque setting, Napa and Sonoma counties are top destinations for hot air balloon rides.
On an average, around 200 people to 250 people a day.
That looks cool. According to the National Transportation Safety Board, since 1964, nearly 1,000 people have been injured hot air ballooning. 73 have died. 7 of those deadly accidents happened in California.
I've flown over 5,000 flights. Nobody gets away for free.
Experienced pilot Scott Vanderhorst says accidents do happen, especially with a high number of flights. He made an emergency landing that injured 15 passengers in Windsor in Sonoma County. He blames an abnormal weather shift that caused him to land in 30-mile-per-hour wind gusts.
And certainly those are situations that are pretty extreme.
It's just not going to happen today. We always like to err on the side of safety.
We found that wind was the cause or contributing factor in more than half of all incidents in California investigated by the NTSB. Pilot error or bad judgment was the other reason things went wrong.
You have to be a licensed pilot to fly a hot air balloon, and we're all licensed by the Federal Aviation Administration.
That's Glenn Moyer with the Balloon Federation of America.
We're restricted as to where we can fly, what altitudes, what areas we can fly in or out of because of the federal regulations. So we're pretty well regulated as it is.
Moyer says balloon pilots are tested every 2 years, and their equipment inspected every 100 hours of flight time.
The biggest challenge is common sense. You got to know when to fly and when not to fly. And knowing when not to fly is really what's critical.
That's something Marcy Cook knows all too well.
He doesn't have brakes and gas pedals. He is operating on the whim of the wind. That's all he has.
And to give you some comparison to other adventure sports, in the last 3 decades, there have been more than 7 times the number of deadly skydiving accidents than hot air balloon accidents. Best advice, before you go up, make sure you're flying with a qualified pilot in good weather.
Elise, thank you. If you have a tip for our investigative unit, give us a call at 888-996-TIPS or send us an email directly to the unit at NBCBayArea.com. We're back in a moment.